that are working at home, and generally for everybody, this is one of the items that I'm hoping that you can pick up. I do have some available for those of us working in class, but as I've said before, we're working in class and out of class, so there will be work where you have to complete it out of class and you're not allowed to take any of the classroom tools home, okay? So I did pick up my Canson watercolor paper at Walmart. It was very inexpensive, and I have the 30 sheet. So it was probably the more expensive one out of the two. There's also a 12 sheet pack, which is more than enough for what you're gonna be doing in this class. Like I said, you're safe with about 6 sheets for this course that we're doing right now. So the nice thing is you just kind of like wiggle them around and they crisply pop right out. So today you need one of those. It's also good to know that watercolor paper is double-sided so that we could get to use out of both sides today, or today and tomorrow. And I don't have a drop box up for this right now, but I will be adding one. Okay, so hold on to this until it needs to be submitted. Other things that I have set up today is a cup of water. I always like to fill the cup halfway just in case it spills. You don't have a giant wet mess. Some paper towel because you'll have to dab some of the paint off of your paintbrush, or just rinse your brushes on that. Okay. I have a flat brush on me, again a flat brush. It's about 1 centimeter in width. There's different variations of flat brushes. It doesn't matter how wide you go. I wouldn't go for a giant brush, go for smaller if anything. But basically a flat brush is useful because you could get a nice thick brush stroke out of it, or if you move it sideways, you could get a nice thin line as well, okay? And usually actually I give out brushes that are even smaller than this. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, so normally I go for something even smaller. Okay, for what we're doing in this class, you don't need to go big. So about, you know, this is my pinky, and both of them fit. Okay, so you have at least one brush today, and you need a ruler, and you need a pencil. If you have a protractor or a geometry set at home, you might want to use that to make your circle for your color wheel, but I always just use my ruler. So the best way to do this is to figure out what is the biggest circle that I could get in here without obviously going off the page. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my ruler centimeters, obviously, reading upwards, and see what I could fit in here. So knowing that I'm going to label my color wheel, I don't want to go right to the edge. I could probably live with, let's say, let's choose an even number to make our lives easier. Let's say 16 centimeters, okay? So I'm going to kind of center my 16 centimeters on here. And I'll make a mark at 0. And then I'll make a mark at 16. And then what's the halfway point between 0 and 16? 8, right? So I'm gonna mark where 8 is. I'm just gonna put a tiny little dot. This is gonna be my center. Okay, so now what I wanna do is I'm going to move my ruler vertically, keeping 8 centimeters on the dot. Okay, and now I'm going to mark 0 again at the top with a small dot, and 16 centimeters at the bottom. And then I'll turn it diagonally, keeping the 8 and the dot together. And then I'll mark my 0 and I'll mark my 16. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it diagonally this way, keeping my 8 centimeter on the dot, and then marking 0 and 16. So basically, you've got a dot in the middle, and you've got 8 centimeters going all the way around, okay? And now you can just lightly connect these with a curved line, and you should be able to get a pretty perfect looking circle. If you can find something in your house to trace that gives you a good circle, like maybe the lid off of a plastic container or a jar of some sort, or like I said, a compass from your geometry set works as well. Okay, but if you have a ruler nearby, this is a quick way to do it. And again, I apologize. The class next door has a movie going on, so if you hear any other noises, that's that. Okay, so we've got our circle. I'm just going to erase my sketchy lines because you don't want too much pencil in the way. Okay, so next step is we want to divide this thing into 12 equal sections because the designer color wheel or the modern color wheel a lot of artists use to reference has 12 colors on it. So first things first, let's divide it into a perfect half. We have our center point here, so you want to line up your ruler there. And drag your pencil downwards. Okay, then we can divide it horizontally. So you can go back to your 3 original points and line up your ruler here. Bring your pencil through. Okay, so we've got 4 sections. 4 times what equals 12? 4 times 3. Okay, so we need to break each of these quadrants into 3. I like to think of it as a pizza. I've cut my pizza into 4 slices, and now I want to cut this into 3 pieces, and I want to make them fairly even so that my friends and family aren't fighting over the pieces, right? So we can get away with eyeballing it. Okay, so I like to just look at it, and I think, okay, if I cut this into 3 pieces, you can play around with it a little bit. Try to set up where you're going to cut those slices. Okay, and now we're going to take our ruler and line it up here with that one cut line, okay, and the center point. Okay, so line it up with the spot here and make sure it goes right through the center. And then you're just going to bring that line right through. Okay, next you're going to line up your ruler with this next cut mark that you made and bring it right through the center. Right through. Okay, if it's not through the center, it's going to look sloppy. So please make sure that if you didn't bring it right through the center, you erase it and you redo this. Okay, so now let's go to this one here. Same idea. I want to take this slice and I want to turn it into 3 equal slices of pizza. So I'm just going to eyeball to the best of my capabilities. Okay, and then I'm going to take that cut mark, bring it right through the center again, and right across. And again, this one here, bring it right through the center and across. Okay, so let's double check. You can put your finger on one piece and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. And they're roughly the same size. We did our best. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple minutes to break right now, and I'm going to let you guys catch up because I know some of you might take a bit longer to draw your wheel. Okay, again, I took my ruler. I decided to go with 16. If you went with 14 or 12, I'm okay with that too. Again, you want to choose an even number where you can find an easy center. Okay, and then basically your radius is half that length. Or this is your diameter of your circle and this is your radius. So your radius point is 8, consistently stays 8 moving around, and you're constantly dragging your line out to 16. Or you can even put the 0 on the center point and just do a bunch of 8s moving around. Basically build up enough dots for you to connect into a circle.